Hey, it's Empress Rose and welcome to our collective reading. We're going to just dig into these cards here and see what messages Spirit might have for us. Leave an emoji, a comment, a like, subscribe, all that. So thank you for being here. All right, well, we're starting off with my oldie but goodie, Oracle Mystical Moments. Oh, all right. From the floor, always an auspicious thing for me in my readings. And then I think that'll be enough. Okay, 2 more from the floor. Although it used to be auspicious when I had a bigger table, but now I have a tiny table, so it's just inevitable. So first off, there's a lot. Wow. There's a lot of silent, contemplative energy on the table right now. Feels kind of weird to be talking about it at all. I feel like we should just vibe about it, because that's what this is. This is vibing, listening, attuning to the world and the people around you, listening to what people might need, listening to what's not being said as much as to what's being said. Tuning in to, and I feel like it's very much, it's behind the scenes stuff. You're tuning into something behind the scenes. There are birds in the background. 2 birds. You can't see them. They're very tiny. I just noticed them today after 10 years with this deck. And then we have a butterfly, we have transformation, changes. Oh my gosh, a ladybug too. All sorts of messages. Oh, you need to be paying attention to the sort of spirit messages around you, to the symbols. The symbols, yeah, and we've got auspicious symbols too, so we'll pull that at the end. So the symbols and yeah, the what's his name? Sidewalk Oracles. What is his name? It's a very simple name. It's like just a couple words. Anyway, he wrote Sidewalk Oracles, so that's a little bit of what I'm seeing here, is looking for those sidewalk oracles, those strange synchronicities. And I think the reading last week, I saw like a woodpecker in there, and guess what I saw yesterday? A woodpecker like flying in front of my car, like for quite a ways. It was really, really cool. Very unique experience, even for an old veteran bird watcher like myself. So anyway, so it's something like that, like a synchronicity like that. Just listening, paying attention to those. They're speaking to you. And then we have Butterfly Garden, which is interesting because we have a butterfly here. And this was almost listening in the Butterfly Garden. But Butterfly Garden, there she is. It's very contemplative again. And it's watching yourself change, watching yourself become different, maybe observing your own thoughts as they shift and change, and being, I think, marveling perhaps at your own growth, at your own development as a person, at the ways in which you're changing, in which you maybe didn't expect to change, maybe weren't really thinking that. Because like we have these sort of personalities, or sort of we are who we are, and like what can change and what cannot be changed. You know, what parts of us that we can grow and become different, and what are just baked in. And that's true for relationships. Like what parts can we improve and tweak, and what parts are just going to be baked in. Like the Gottman Institute talks about how there's a certain percentage of problems that a couple will have that aren't resolvable. Because if they were resolvable, they would have been resolved in the first couple of years, right? But there's always going to be a couple that they're not resolvable. So this to me looks like something that maybe you had put in the category of, this is just who I am and I can't change that. And I think that you're going to surprise yourself this week with a change. And I think it just wants you to observe that change. Watch yourself shift and move. And like last week, we talked about planetary placements and stuff like that. I mean, not like in depth or knowledgeably, but we did talk about you know, Jupiter placement and something happening in the planets right now. So there could just be like a time in your life where it's just aligned, the shift in you. And I think that it's something that maybe you weren't expecting of yourself. So because you're very much watching, observing, and I think admiring how you're changing something that may have been a bit of an intractable like issue, or a part of your personality that you just had thought that's just baked in, or a part of a situation where that's just baked in, and you're going to watch it this week change, and you're going to marvel, I think, at that. So flower spirit, here we have our little spiritual midwife here, the flower spirit. I want to read this one for some reason. Can I? Yeah, I'm going to read it. Spiritual midwife is what I have to say. And then also, this is not a daylily, but it reminds me of a daylily. They just live for one day. That's it. And they crack open. And for one day, they're also edible. Now, this is not an edible lily, but the daylily is an edible lily. So it's just, it feels like this flower spirit is, you have assistance in this shift, in this change. These three cards together are just like, listen and allow what you're hearing to change you, to shift something inside you. And so there is either spiritual help or physical help, or like in a friend, a therapist, someone that's really going to kind of hold your hand as you go through a shift. Like the butterfly garden, the caterpillar goes into the cocoon. This is almost like going into a cocoon. Like she's buried, she's underground. She's going into the cocoon, and this is an emergence. Yes, there is definitely an emergence here of a new self, a new idea, a shift in how you move in the world. Like a caterpillar versus a butterfly, like caterpillar. And so the butterfly garden can be a little bit, it could be terrifying, but I see you having a lot of peace about this change. It could be terrifying because it is the caterpillar going into the cocoon, turning to goo, completely having molecules, I think, molecules rearranged on a molecular level, and then emerging as a totally different thing. There is a lot of transformation and a lot of emergence here. And I think your job is to watch and allow. But I did want to tap into this flower spirit because something about it. Friendship, soul, tenderness, joy. This card shows the tender and sensitive flower fairy, the soul of each plant. She listens with all of her heart to her friends and provides a soothing caress when their edges get prickly. By enjoying life and keeping the playfulness in her heart, she is a source of inspiration and joy. Her childlike vision helps her see the good in all things, especially herself. So I guess one thing that sparked for me is that you might be the one who's listening as somebody else is changing and transforming, and just being the support there, not pushing. And I guess like last week we talked about protective egg. And you can't push, you can't crack the egg from the outside. It has to be an inside job. So that's what I'm seeing here too, is that you might be the one who's listening and watching a transformation in someone else, and just being the supportive presence, the supportive friend. Or you might have one. You could be, oh, wouldn't that be fun if you were on both sides of that equation? But it's just very quiet, contemplative emergence here. Something is emerging, and it deserves watchful respect. It deserves a respectful audience, I want to say, and awe. Okay. Oh, that's fascinating. It's interesting always when these cards do repeats during the week, you know. Oh dear. Okay, that's a lot. But night. So something could be happening at night. This is also that restful, contemplative thing. Maybe these are sounds in the night that you're listening to, and they signify something. But at night, the rest, the relaxation, oh man, it's such a quiet, contemplative reading. It's amazing. But here we have, quiet, sleep, dreams. Maybe you'll have a dream. Maybe you just wake up a different person, or just wake up with a new attitude, and it's just very gentle, very easy. But this night is giving rest, a shutting down, a going inward. This could all be meditation. It's all a connect. Nighttime too is a connection to the subconscious, you know, and that's where the moon is out, or intuition is out. But there's this, right? She's sleeping. They're sleeping. There's this tuning into something else that's not the external. And it's shutting the door on sort of the external, the five senses, and going just totally internal, connection with the subconscious, connection with intuition, as we kind of close our eyes and shut down the outside world. And so I'll go through these really quickly, hopefully. Here we have communication. Someone is saying what they need. Someone's listening. This is already on the table. Listening is at least half of any kind of communication. So someone could be telling you something. They could be informing you of something that they need. They could be saying that they're hungry, you know, and we have the flower spirit, the helpful helper, and this one's communicating. They're saying what they need, and you're listening, and that might shift you. That might change you somehow. Oh, some of these I don't like. This deck is so much trouble. Okay, abundance, something coming in here. So communicating, and then abundance. And it's like, yeah, there are other crows that don't find this pile of fish sitting outside the cannery. There are crows on the other side of the harbor. There are crows that are struggling. But right now, you have the key. You know how to get here. You know what's at stake. You know what's at stake. You know how, you're there. You're in the know. You're in the right place at the right time for some sort of abundance to come your way. You are communicating. You could be like, hey guys, I need something. I need this. I need that. I'm going to communicate my needs. And that can open up doors to abundance. Hey guys, I need some fish, right? His bowl's empty right here. And then here are all these crows over here. Well, we've got a ton of stuff over here. Why don't you just come over here? We've got more money than we can know what to do with. We've got more opportunities than we can shake a stick at or something. Like, yeah. And so I feel like you might say a need and someone else might be like, well, I have exactly what you need. And spades. And then we have these two. We have rebirth, which is talking about the flower spirit to hear my midwife spirit. A rebirth is something, it's shifting form. It is the butterfly. It's the death card. It is shifting form. It's going from one format to another format of one way of moving, squirking across the ground, inching across the roadway versus flying. So there's a difference in those two modes of transportation. So that's what rebirth tells me. And this rebirth can also be talking about going from need to abundance, going from an empty bowl to a full dock. And maybe it's a dream you have. You have a dream. This Knight card just is making this look like this could be very subconscious or working with the subconscious, or it comes from rest. Like communicate and then rest. The Knight card is really throwing me off now. Like there's transformation, we have a shift, we have a change. We have not doing the same thing in the same way anymore. We have a new way emerging, being reborn, a rebirth here. It's emerging and there's a lot of assistance here. And then we have wrath. I did not want to see this card. This could upset. This could be upsetting for some people. I think also if someone is angry, if someone is communicating some amount of frustration or upset, I don't think wrath, my experience with this card is that it can also just be upset and be hi Jack, it can be upset, it can be frustrations or something like that. So someone may have a need, they may be hangry, there may be some hangry in here, and maybe someone is communicating some anger, and the response needs to be a very deep, compassionate listening. There is anger and a deep, compassionate listening. It's interesting how these cards just kind of communicate, except that Knight card now just feels kind of strange. to me. What are we doing here with that Knight card? So the Wrath card, upsetting. People could be upset at your rebirth, at your abundance. That seems to trigger a lot of people. Some people really don't like it when other people are doing well. There's a rebirth, and I guess it could be sort of clearing the air. I can see that as happening as well. I can see maybe even an argument happening overnight or during the night or something, but it gets cleared up. Like you go from hangry, missing something, feeling lack, to feeling abundant, and maybe there's some sort of argument that takes place, or somebody expresses something very upsetting. Your job is to remain calm and just sort of usher in the new era very calmly. Like, we don't need a midwife who's like, oh my God, what's happening now? Oh no, oh my God. That's just like, you don't want that with a hairdresser. You don't want that with a midwife. You don't want that with a proctologist. It's just not professional. So maybe you're not doing professional listening right here, but you do need to listen and not like get sucked into something. It's going to go way better if you bring a gentle touch. If somebody else is bringing their needs and communicating their frustration and their anger to you, it'll go much better, honestly, if everybody brings a gentle touch. But I feel like the way these have sort of arranged themselves here, that we end up in a really good place, and there's a renewal, a rebirth, and that whatever frustrations happen and occur can be dealt with and taken care of. And it might usher in a new era of a relationship or a situation. Could be going from lack to abundance, but it could be a tricky little path in there. So I'm going to take out, we're going to do some of these goddesses. I just want to shuffle again. So for your environment, in your environment, you have, and then we'll modify with the tarot cards. Affirmation, yes, you get a yes from somebody. A yes, confirmed. And that could be related to the abundance. But somebody, it's a go. It's a all, what is it? All signs go, or something like that. Okay, and then your energy that's most useful for you, suggested energy, Wiripranili, direction. So you get a yes, and it gives you direction, it gives you focus. It might even set some new routines for you. Yeah, but what I am learning with these cards is let's go layer them with the tarot, because I could go on, and then here comes tarot, changing everything up. But that direction card, you are to go in the direction of the yes. Oh, very clearly, she's looking at the yes, and she is headed there. And we have a card that came out here in this last little shuffle. Two of Cups, a relationship, some kind of relationship, a conversation. Oh God, this is beautiful. This is weird. This is funny. They're out in the mountains. I feel like they're at a lake or something like that, and they're sharing tea first thing in the morning. This looks like morning light to me, and they're out there having a heart-to-heart on the dock. Having a heart-to-heart on the dock. Early in the morning, they're having coffee together. It's funny to me because I am heading to the mountains this week for my birthday. So I don't think there'll be a dock there though. But a beautiful heart-to-heart with somebody else. That listening, vibing, really nice vibe. Okay, whoa, we have yet again, Magician, underlying, creating something, an overall dream, a vision, gathering the, I want to say gathering the troops, but I don't think that's it. I think it's like gathering the pieces. It's the mise en place. We're prepping everything. So preparations have been underway. A plan is underway. It's card number 1. This is the first the first preparations, the first, you know, like the Fool, card 0 is like, I want to go on a trip. I want to do that. First preparations is like, well, what are the dates? Where are we going to stay? Who's coming? That kind of thing. Like, it's the first piece of the manifestation. Not just intention being set, but gathering pieces, gathering information, gathering what you need in order to create something. And it does feel like a bit of a bigger storyline here. I'm going to sip this. With the mic here, that sipping is so loud. All right, so past, present, oof, sticky cards, inner landscape, what's at issue, oh, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Okay. So in the recent past, we have 6 of Swords. Moving on mentally is how, mentally and emotionally from a situation. No, actually this past week, this came in as moving on or wanting to move on emotionally, but mentally you're still rehashing stuff. There's a mental, I want to say a mental load here of rehashing pains and hurts and all that, but you have been wanting to move forward emotionally, where it's more of an away motion and not a to motion, right? It's like, not that, I don't want to go, I don't want to do that, but you might still be replaying scenarios in your head, right? We've got the Swords here still dangling over the boat, even as it navigates through some very tricky, difficult waters, some tricky emotional landscape, and our mind may be helping or hindering, but we're definitely taking some memories and some thoughts with us away from a situation. So we're emotionally sort of trying to navigate some out of an emotionally difficult spot, but we may have some ideas that are still popping up. You know, sometimes those are lessons. Sometimes those are things we need to remember, like, hey, you know, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Or, you know, little things that we pick up and we learn. And it's important to take those lessons with us. It's important to remember, you know, who people are and have good boundaries, which some people that want you to have bad boundaries will call grudges, and sometimes they are grudges. But anyway, it's a little complicated. I see 6 of Swords right now as being a very complicated card, trying to emotionally navigate through some difficult waters, but also like having thoughts and memories, and you want to take the lessons with you, but you also don't want to keep rehashing something. So eventually that all settles out. Like, eventually that all settles out, you know, and you get some distance from a situation, and eventually you're emotionally over it, you're mentally over it, but there could be something from the past that still bothers you, at least like when you think of it, even though you may have emotionally navigated away from it. Whoa, another one. Ace of Swords, a new idea, a new thought, a new conversation begins. Lots of new ideas. Whoa. I feel like this Ace of Swords also has like some love in it. It has some passionate, some love. It's interesting. How many swords do we have here? Just the 2. And pentacles and wands and 3 major arcana. We actually we have 1, 2, and 5 here. So the Ace of Swords, so this seems like an idea that kind of, an explosive idea, but there's so much passion in it. I don't usually associate the Ace of Swords with passion, with love, but that's what this seems to be. This seems to be a communication from the heart about something, or a new way to view love, a new way to view perhaps this past situation. You are learning a new tactic, a new way to maybe love yourself as you had to navigate the situation and who you had to be as you navigated away from something that was really difficult and prickly. This could be a new concept, a new understanding of love, a new way of thinking about love. But it kind of blows up. What I'm seeing is like people, friends, these two friends, sort of playing a card game, like cribbage or something, a card game, and a new idea comes in and it just kind of blows the whole thing out of the water. I'm seeing this rebirth card. It's actually sitting on top of the rebirth card, the way these cards are layered on the table. As far as like a new way of seeing something and a new way of doing something, new information too coming in, like you navigated away from something that was really difficult, and then here again we have two people in this boat, and we have this underlying idea of this relationship. We have two people in this boat navigating away, right? And I saw the dock right there, and then this is like this piece of information or this something, it just explodes into your world. It has to do with love. It has to do with the love that may have been in this relationship. But you two, you left with somebody. Somebody was helping you move away, move through from a situation. And here we have maybe a revelation, maybe an epiphany coming in. I think it directly relates to this situation that you already went through. It kind of explodes the rules of the game. It kind of blows them up. Like we were playing by these rules, we were playing this game, and all of a sudden this truth comes in, this epiphany comes in, and it just is pretty explosive idea is what it feels like. But it's like love. It's like, it feels like what you can do with this piece of information or this new thought process or this new way of communicating perhaps, what you can do is you can go back and bring more healing and clarity to this sort of fraught maze of emotion and thoughts. This is going to bring clarity perhaps to the past, or perhaps just allowing you to move on and move forward in a much clearer, more direct way. Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape. Knight of Pentacles, you want to have a plan. You want to plan something. Jack, can you hear him? You want to have a plan. You don't want to move very fast. You don't want to move very fast. You're hopeful that you can move slowly, that you can really think things through, do some research. There's this explosive thing, and then you immediately have this like pull in the reins. Like it's like your horse is like, I'm tired of this hike. I'm tired of this trip through the mountains. And then you turn the horse back to the barn. The horse wants to bolt straight back, no matter how dangerous the terrain is, no matter what's going on here. It just wants to run. And then with this, I see you as just holding back, trying to pull in the reins, like not so fast, not so fast. Let's pull back. Let's think this through. Let's have a plan. I think that that's what you are desiring, is to kind of slow something down a little bit that's been a little bit explosive. And it's interesting because I feel like you're putting brakes on something, even though this is what you want, even though this was very unpleasant. This might be something you've wanted, this piece of information, this new way of thinking about a situation, a problem, and something in your history, a new way of thinking about it. You want that, and yet at the same time, you want to pull back. You have brakes on it. Like, no, not quite so fast. Like, I did want that, but not at that speed. I did want that, but not that explosively, right? This can also be this wrath. This could be very explosive. That's what I'm seeing as an explosion here with this ace. It's an epiphany. And I think that this could also be trying to figure out what to do with this information, wanting to slow things down enough to be like, this blows my mind. What am I going to do with this? How do I handle this? How do I integrate this? How do I integrate this into the plan that I have going forward? So you would like to move things slowly. There's also a sense of a souvenir here. All of this is very root chakra stuff, honestly. It's very who am I? Not just who am I. It's like a right to exist. It's like a foundation of you have a right to exist. You have a right to be here. So there's something about that, but there's this desire to think this through, to really integrate this information and think it through before reacting and plan something. You want to plan something. Maybe this is an exciting new idea and you want to plan about it, right? It's going back to magician, like the mise en place, like, well, before we turn the burner on, let's get everything set out and laid out and chopped up and ready to go. And that's where you're at. You want to be more in this magician phase of sorting through the pieces. Jack is so active. I don't know if you can hear him. He is like banging on things, meowing, going here and there. I know what he wants. And he's not going to get it. Not right now, Jack. Yeah. So he wants to go out, and but yeah, there's technical difficulties here. So what's at issue here is the High Priestess in reverse. No intuition about something. Right. This Knight card where we're talking about like, hey, shutting down the external, going more internal, getting in touch with your subconscious, with your intuition. This High Priestess is not doing that. They're not really trying to, somebody's out of touch. Somebody could be intentionally withholding some information. Something might not make sense to you right now. There could be some sort of intuitive thing coming in that doesn't make sense. It's reminding me of this card where I'm like, what does this mean here? And this card, what does this mean here? It's not making sense to me. There are pieces here that don't make sense and don't add up. Someone may be not vibe checking or not really in touch with like what their vibe is, or what the, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said that, and not really checking with, well, what's my experience? What's my experience with this person? And there are times when we want to listen to other people, and then there are times when people, poison the well and do stuff like that. And so it's just like, well, what would your motivation be? And do you have a history of, lying about people or whatever? So the High Priestess is someone who's not listening to their individual intuition, not listening to their higher power, not really in touch with that. So this could be, just be aware that someone may not be in their like highest vibe right now. And that person actually, with the cards on the table, needs compassion. So they could be saying something very explosive, something that explodes the game or hurts your heart too. It could be words. This could be heartbreaking information, words that hurt, but they're not connected very highly to their best self right now. They could be lying. They could be being shady. Someone could be being very shady here, withholding, obfuscating stuff, trying to throw you off, knowing information but not sharing it that they should be sharing. And then in your environment you have a yes, and you have King of Wands. So this is a person. This is a person, intuitive, somewhat magical. This can be the Magician. Oh my gosh, King of Wands right next to the Magician. This could be the Magician. The Magician is saying yes. The Magician is saying absolutely. This could be a creative field, someone who is a leader. It's someone who's a leader in a creative field. This could be a cult leader. Like the thing about King of Wands is they're very charismatic. They're very charismatic, and it can be difficult to tell why they're being charismatic. Are they being charismatic because they want to hook you in and manipulate you? Or are they being charismatic because they themselves are just super passionate and they think everybody needs to do this and this is very exciting? But this is a leader. I also see a very sexual person here, and very magical renewal. We have like the newt here talking about rebirth. So this could be someone coming from the past, a leader that you've had before, coming from the past for a rebirth, but it's a new way of doing something. It's a new way of, it's not the same old thing. This is a totally different new way of doing something. And they are saying yes to you. They are agreeing with you. They are, and this is an impromptu leader. This isn't necessarily like King of Swords is officially the leader in the situation, on paper at least. King of Pentacles is a leader that worked their way into that position, maybe never went to college or whatever. So our different kings have different ways of being a leader. This can be an impromptu leader that shows up in the moment and is like, oh yes, that. So I love that you're getting a yes. I hope it's a good yes. I think you really need to listen to this person. So there could be a leader coming in here giving you a yes. That might be the Ace of Swords information. You may be like, whoa, 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 slow down. What's going on? Let's actually come up with more of a plan. You want more of a plan or more information. You're asking for more information. This other person is just like, yes, let's do it. Yep, so let's go. Yes, let's. Yes, right now. Let's do this. They're very, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. They're on board, and whoever else needs to be on board, this person will get those other people on board. They're good at convincing other people. They're good at getting other people, rallying everybody and inspiring other people. And they've got a big yes. So I love that. That's a big, happy yes. Rura Pranali with your, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Only ever read it, never heard it. So an Aboriginal goddess, direction, routine, that kind of thing. That's you sticking with your routine. Oh, stick with your routines, because we have 3 of Wands, which is hope for the future. Do not give up hope. You, I like how this deck has him looking at, is it a portal? Is it an oasis? Is it a mirage? This is like, oh man, look, they're both out in the desert. They both have wands. That's fascinating. Trees and wands. These are really similar cards. They're out in the desert. So you may be in a very bleak landscape. All around you does not look great. Keep going. Have faith. Have hope. You've got a big, I want to say a big sloppy kiss right here. A big hell yes right here. But your job right now is to keep going, keep moving through what seems like a barren landscape, not too exciting. And that mirage in front of you, is it a mirage? Is it an oasis? Is it the portal? But keep moving. This guy's like, but he's actually just standing there. But with these 3 wands, plus Rura Pranali's 4 wands, there's a graduation here. And I feel like this is actually, just watch. Watch this space. It's a watch this space kind of thing. He's got his hands in his pockets. This is giving, well, it is like the mini Empress. It's giving Empress vibes. Like, sit back, I don't know. Sit back on your couch and watch. And wait, and let this abundance come to you, right? We have this really mellow energy up here, which I'm not feeling at all, except for a few minutes. I felt really mellow when I talked about the King of Wands, like, oh, relaxing. But this is you staying the course. Go through the desert, keep moving. The landscape is harsh right now, but your routines, your direction, keep heading in that direction. But there's a very mellow way in which you're heading in that direction. You're going, but you're going with your hands in your pockets, not with your hands out, not grabbing this abundance, not grabbing these fish, but letting, it's like, yeah, keep going, keep going is what I'm getting. Keep going, but in a very mellow, chill way. A way that says to the universe, I know I'm going to get there. I know everything's going to turn out. I know everything's going to be fine. It better be. And I know. So you're going to stick with your routines because you know. So keep practicing, keep reaching out, keep communicating, keep going, but you have to do it in an attitude of confidence and confident that the right thing is coming for you, no matter what that is. If it's a relationship, if it's, if someone comes to you and they're upset and in anger, this chill vibe right here, if it's all going to be fine at some point, is going to be way more helpful than you responding in kind. So you want to kind of hold your horses here. You want to hold your horses. This is like, yeah, like keep walking in that direction. But yeah, this is like, this one's full stop and you'd rather just stop here. But this is like, keep walking in that direction. Keep going. Don't let your horses run, but do let them keep trotting or keep walking, plodding towards the results. So a consistent practice of some kind, a consistent application. Like if you're advertising your business, be very consistent about that. Maybe not constant contact because, hey, I already bought a bra from you last week. I don't need 12 more ads because I don't have that many tits. So they don't need that much containment. Like just like, so don't overblow your communication with people, but also like keep communicating, keep connecting. So you're a bit right in pulling back the reins, but also keep letting the horse move forward. So, and the Hierophant is where you're going. What? We've got the Magician, we've got the King of Wands. The Hierophant is Taurus energy, it's pastor energy, it's leader, but this is the unconventional leader. This is the very conventional leader, the boss, the organization. The boss, the organization. An organization with steps and ladders and like I want to say like a state organization, like how some businesses are just like, oh yeah, let's just move you over here, let's just do that, and others like state or city municipal places are like, okay, and then after 12 months and 3 hours you get this step increase, and then after this, like it's very organized and very official. And there's not a lot of wiggle room. Like this guy wants to be like, oh yeah, we go like this and it's just like this. And this is like, yeah, this guy doesn't survive well in this environment because this is a much more official environment. So that's where you're headed, some sort of maybe institution or some sort of boss of an institution. It's an organization that's very organized. It's a highly organized organization. So this could be like for the metaphor of a job, this is like a highly organized organization, and this is someone like a recruiter that's just been hired for the situation or something like that. Like they're not part of the organization. They would not survive that. But something very official, yeah. So our three major arcana are the Magician, the High Priestess, and the Hierophant. So we have, and the High Priestess is in reverse, and the High Priestess and the Hierophant have quite a relationship. In fact, the High Priestess and the Magician have an interesting relationship too. The High Priestess and the Magician are more counterparts, or more evenly matched than the High Priestess and the Hierophant. The Hierophant talks about a religion and organization that didn't allow the High Priestess to perform at her full capacity. They don't want women, their rules just don't allow it. They just don't allow the woman to be the teacher, they don't allow for intuition. So we had to so the intuition's been turned off because this organization does not allow for intuition. So these are spiritual counterparts. This, the highly organized organization, and this, the heart and soul, the intuition, the tarot reader versus the priest. So that's the Hierophant. And it can be about religious rites of passage, religious spirituality. It's more the trappings of spirituality rather than the actual kernel there. I feel like this high priestess is lacking information. Maybe that's why you need to listen. Okay, and you're finally, at long last, the auspicious symbol. This has got to be my favorite. Babalu Eye. I love Babalu Eye so much. I love Lucy. Ricky Ricardo. Oh my gosh, why am I missing the name of literally like one of my first celebrity crushes? But anyway, he used to have songs about Babalu. So Babalu Eye, open to a cure or specific assistance in dealing with illness of body, mind, or spirit. And this reminds me of this communication card asking for what you need. So Babalu Eye has this like whole costume, and it's basically like a giant filter so that germs, and especially is related to upper respiratory issues and stuff like that. So germs can't come in, and because there's this sort of straw or fabric filter. So anyway, if you want to do some research on Babalu Eye, I definitely would. I love him. So specific assistance in dealing with illness of body, mind, or spirit. So being open, being receptive to a way of dealing with something that might be more healthy, might be healthier than what you've been doing or how you have understood something. This is also just wishes. If you need to wear your mask somewhere, I don't know. I know there's varying feelings about that, so respectful of all of that, except this would be like wear a mask somewhere. Because that's basically what Babalu Eye is all about, is preventing airborne illnesses, like in a different level. So anyway, happy to see you, Babalu Eye. Babalu Eye would be more King of Wands here. So there could be some really, so Caribbean ideas. What other auspicious things? Some sort of headdress here, a rattle, some shells, Caribbean vibes, but it also is giving High Priestess because it's that hidden identity here. All right, well, hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I love doing these for you. I love doing these for us. I love the different ways of viewing or situations this can come up with. So I hope that was helpful. Bye.